Welcome back, everybody, to another video. We're going to be going over the New York City Call of Duty roster that actually just got announced yesterday. I was waiting for if they were going to be announcing any subs or anything. I was going to make the video yet last night. You guys don't know, this is the very first full Call of Duty roster that we've gotten, and this entire roster has actually been leaked for a few weeks. But the fact that this full roster came into fruition means some of those other rosters are probably correct. For New York, the first person that they did announce was Zuma. And everyone kind of thought that this was what was going to happen, that Zuma was going to be the first person who got announced. I think it's a good person to pick up as your first captain, someone who can lead your starting five on your team. What's very interesting, the kind of mix between who they ended up picking up. So they ended up picking up Zero as well, another Faze player. They picked up Accuracies, who played both Splice and EG. They picked up Temp, also from Splice. And then last but not least, they picked up Attach, who was EG, but also a part of Faze on kind of a borrow system. So if you see here, this is their starting five. And like I said before, I've already kind of touched on what teams these people played for before. Zero played for Red Reserve and then went to Faze. Zuma was on Faze the entire year. Same thing with Temp, he was on Splice the entire year. Attach was technically still on Faze for the entire year. He was just on loan to EG. And then Accuracies played on Splice and then was dropped and then picked up for EG. Now, the first thing that comes to mind with this team, they have a lot kind of chemistry with each other. So Temp and Accuracy play with each other. You have Attach and Accuracy who play with each other. You have, Zero and Zuma who played almost the entire second half of the year together. And then you have Attach and Zuma who played multiple years together, who have won championships together. So they have a ton of just chemistry between multiple players. So I think the overall chemistry of the team should be pretty good. I've kind of scoured YouTube, and Twitter to kind of find out if these guys have ever had any issues with each other. It seemed pretty just like normal player banter. But other than that, when you look at this roster, you don't see a lot of, a lot of consistent middle placings. So if you look here, 9th and 10th at London for Accuracies. Attach, kind of the same thing. He was like 13th to 16th. Zuma and Zero, same thing, 9th to 12th. Temp, obviously, he was playing with Accuracies, so 9th to 12th. None of them played extremely well at Champs. Attach and Accuracies obviously lost to a United to make top 7 and 8th. And also, no one actually won any sort of tournaments this year when it comes to LANs. The closest was Splice when they got 2nd at Fort Worth, and they got 3rd at Vegas. It's a good team. I think the talent that this team does have, I think this is a good kind of middle of the road team. I would like to see what other teams kind of formulate these God squads, so to speak, and also who EG picks up as a sub, because that could also be a huge thing if they ended up picking up very, very good subs, not sub players, but like substitutes. So that way, if one of these players are not clicking the right way, I guess, they can actually bring somebody else in who's going to perform a lot better. My standout for this team, and this is something that we'll probably see a lot of with other teams, most of these teams are going to pick up like one or two very, very high value players from last season. So if you're just basing them off of last season, Zuma and Tempt would be probably the highest valued, quote unquote, valued players on the starting roster. So obviously putting those two in place, you have your two very, very high energy sub players, and then you have to fill out with some consistency. Accuracy, although he didn't really perform well too much last year, had a very, very good run in World War II with TK. Zero, made the Pro League, played with Red Reserve, which was actually a very good European team until all the, stuff happened with them. And Attach is kind of somewhere in the middle. I feel like with Attach, and you'll see this with other people, mainly like Doug Sensor Martins, probably like the Parasites. Hopefully not. I don't want Parasite to fall into this category, but I think he may a little bit. These people who are still very talented, but they're not brought onto the team, I feel like, for their talent. I feel like they're brought on for their brand. So I feel like Attached, as good as a player as I think he is, I think he got brought on specifically to kind of be this, like, he's the brand guy on the team. Kind of like if Sensor would get picked up for a team, which, whole other story. But Attached is sort of coming in as the brand guy, the guy who's going to, he has, his own scuff controller. He's trying to grow his YouTube channel a lot to have this, good content base. So having somebody like that who they can kind of funnel content into, because these are not just going to be, you guys are going to be put, on stage and play. They're going to be building YouTube channels out of here. And the more content that these people can make, because that's the big word right now, is content, content, content. So if they can build content out of somebody and using Attach, and then because of his relationship with Zuma, both of them can make content together, could bring a lot more fans, which then, fans that want to buy, merchandise, and that whole profit goes up. But I think so far, obviously this is the only team that we've seen fully announced, so we just can't really compare them to anybody else. But I think if you're just comparing it off with what they did last year, or even the year before that, I think this is a very solid team. I think this team can be closer to the top, depending on how the other rosters form out, and also depending on what substitute players they get. This team can be very, very deadly. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think of this team. Let me know what substitutes they should pick up if you were the owner, and just what you think about this whole roster in general. I'll see you guys in the next video.